Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is the Michael Carrick Testimonial versus All-Stars 08. No, I've got that wrong. Michael Carrick's 2008 Manchester United European Cup winning side, -1 or 2 against the Carrick All-Stars Testimonial at 8:30 UK. 8:30? Start again. 2:30 UK time. So we're building up towards that. We are live a little bit early though because we do want to spend a good half an hour talking about Carrick. Of course, what a servant he's been for Manchester United. But there has been an announcement football-wise this morning in relation to Antoine Griezmann, which I've sort of been keeping an eye on social media for the last couple of hours, and there's a definite split on this. And I think, well, effectively, we do need to move on. But I am going to open up the Skype, and people can Skype in and have their say about it, because I think that's what the United Stand is all about. We're all about having our opinions, and I think when there's a clear dividing opinion, then of course we should all jump on and have it. So we're going to open up the Skype calls. Skype Goldbridge, all one word. We're talking Antoine Griezmann. What's your thoughts on it? And for those who may have missed it, he's basically come out and said that because of the transfer ban, he can't leave Atletico Madrid. So you've got some people on some sides going, oh, what a man. What a man. You can't knock him for that. Loyalty. You can't knock him for that. What a man. We just need to move on. Don't pick on Griezmann. Now, I'm probably the biggest Griezmann fanboy there is. I love him. I think he's a fantastic footballer. He was absolutely perfect for Manchester United. But I'm not on that loyalty side at all. I'm on this side. I'm on the realistic side, which is this. If he really wanted to come to Manchester United, he would be signing for Manchester United. If people are talking about loyalty, can you imagine someone like Norwich City having, an absolute fantastic player who's about 19 years of age, and Manchester United have been talking to him for 6 months, and he's like, I want to move to Manchester United, it's my dream, I'm going to wear the number 7 shirt. Norwich City get a transfer ban, and he goes, you know what, I'm the most moralistic and loyalist footballer there is in football, I'm staying at Norwich because they're where I started out. And United go, wow, we've never noticed that before. We would have paid you a lot of money as well and given you the number 7 shirt. No, I'm Mr. Moral. I'm Mr. Moral and I'm staying. What an absolute total load of nonsense. You would not turn down the Manchester United opportunity of wearing the most iconic shirt in football if you really wanted to come to Manchester United. The reality is United have been working on this deal for a long time. He's obviously been very open to the deal. The transfer ban comes in, which is not a shock to anybody. He knew that, look, Atletico Madrid cheated. They got the ban they deserved. He knew that ban was likely. What's happened is the ban's come in and Atletico Madrid have made him some sort of offer. And he's decided, you know what, I am not really up for this Manchester United move. I am a little bit of a bottler. I'll take more money to stay in sunny Spain and never win anything. And that's how I feel about it. I'm disappointed in him, not because he's staying at Atletico Madrid, but because he clearly just doesn't have the winning mentality or the balls to go and take up what would be a massive job at Manchester United. We need a number 7. It is the most iconic shirt for us. He would have a lot of pressure on him, but I guarantee under Mourinho he would win trophies. To stay at Atletico Madrid because of a ban that they deserved, if he wanted to come to Manchester United, he'd be in a Manchester United shirt. And I find it a little bit galling, all these people who are sticking up for a player who's got nothing to do with our club. You should be putting Manchester United first above a player that you don't know the facts about. You're just going, oh, you can't knock his loyalty. What a load of nonsense. There is no loyalty in football like that. That doesn't exist. And he isn't staying there out of loyalty because he was joining us. Atletico Madrid have offered him something. He's going to sign a new contract. If it was loyalty, he'd be staying there for 6 months. He wouldn't be signing a new contract. The minute he signs that new contract, which will be in the next couple of weeks, that throws away all these people going on about loyalty. Because if he's signing a new contract, he's getting a pay increase. If he's getting a pay increase, that's because Atletico Madrid have offered him a lot of money to stay. And he has gone back on the word he'd given to United to stay at Atletico Madrid. And for me, that's it. Finished. Your chance is gone. I've had people saying you like a jilted bride at a jilted groom at a wedding. Well, maybe a little bit, yeah, maybe I can take that on. But I tell you what, this bride or groom will not be being jilted again, because Manchester United are bigger than any footballer. They're bigger than Ronaldo. They're bigger than Messi. You don't treat us like that. That's it. End of story. You've had your chance. We move on. But I will not sit down and take, oh, you can't knock Griezmann. He's absolutely played us, and I put Manchester United above anything, and I will not tolerate people saying he's loyal. Oh, you've got to stand by him. Oh, what a guy. And you know what? You're going to look really stupid when he signs the new contract, because that will show and prove it's nothing to do with loyalty, it's to do with that. And I always thought throughout the season when he was on about, oh, I'm not sure about England because of the rain, I like the sun. I thought that's just ridiculous press. That's not true. He surely can't be saying that. When you look back on it, he was saying that. What sort of footballer dictates their career and winning trophies and defining their legacy by how sunny it is? I mean, it's just, I think he's a little bit weak-minded, to be honest, and I never thought he was. But let's have a look. You can Skype in. It is Skype Goldbridge, all one word. I would love to get your thoughts on this. And yes, no, look, haha banter. We're not moving on. We've gone live half an hour before. We're meant to be live at 2 o'clock for the testimonial. That's when we'll start talking about that. This is your lot's opportunity to talk about something that a lot of people are arguing about on social media about Griezmann. So I want your opinions. That's what the United Stand's all about. So we're not moving on. We're talking about it for half an hour, and you can have your say on it. Because I want somebody to come in, to call in, and defend him, and you know, because I'm very surprised by it. But as Eamon McDermott says, clearly Griezmann's word is worth nothing at all. I'm with you, Eamon. But you've got some people saying his word means everything because he's loyal to Atletico Madrid. They can't seem to see the wood for the trees. That he's clearly not stood by the word he gave to Manchester United. We've built our transfer summer around it, and he's just gone, oh, I can't do it now. Not good enough. Not good enough. Jessica Jane makes a good point. As you said, this has been known for ages. Why did United not check him out to see what would have happened in this instant? It has ended up being a United transfer ban. Very good point, Jessica. But I would say this. I would imagine Griezmann and his camp have been saying the transfer ban makes no difference. I'll still come, because United. Why would United take? I mean, I don't know much about the transfer ban, but actually, when you listen to a lot of the journalists in Spain, this was always likely to happen. They had committed the crime, and the ban was likely to be upheld. So United, you know, they've got lawyers and all sorts, paid a lot of money. They would have known there was a high chance that this ban was going to be upheld, and they would have been speaking to Griezmann about it. And he must have been saying, "I'll stay. I'll stay. I'll go. I'll come. I'll still come." And what's happened is what's happened on Thursday. Something has happened, and I would guarantee Atletico Madrid have got a load of money in their pocket that they cannot spend because they've got a ban, and they've just thought, quite shrewdly, chuck a load of this money at Griezmann. You know, mirror what Manchester United are offering, because I imagine we would have been offering about 300 grand a week, but they'll have done something. And as for those people who are saying, well, maybe we'll sign him in January or next summer, why should we? Why should we wait? Why would Mourinho want to wait a year? We're not. You know, we're not Arsenal, we're not Liverpool, we're not Everton, we're not small clubs. We're a big club. Why should Manchester United wait for one player when next season we're going to be trying to win the league and we're going to be trying to go and do well in the Champions League? Why would we write a season off waiting for a player? We can't wait, and I can't believe that that's what we've done. We have to move on and maybe spend a little bit more, maybe be a bit more outrageous and get somebody who's better than that. And who that better is, I don't know. But yeah, I think it is very interesting. Thanks, Hallam. Mr. Anta says, let's move on and get Bale or Sanchez. I tell you what, both are the best. Are not the best. They're both very good options. I think whoever we get, and I'm going to take a call now, but I think whoever we get has to be somebody who is of the quality of a Griezmann. They've got to be on that level, if you know what I mean. I'm just trying to take a call. I don't know why that's not happening. I was trying to take that one. Let's try. Hello, who am I talking to? Hello,
Richard.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yep, you're live. Is it Richard? Is it?
It is. Mark, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. What did you want to say?
Well, I just wanted to say I was gutted about the fact that he's getting a £5.7 million royalty bonus from Atletico Madrid.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a huge royalty bonus, but he's basically played it. I'm really.
You're breaking up a little bit, Richard.
Sorry, can you hear me?
I can. It's just breaking up a little bit. So yeah, you were on about the loyalty bonus, which even I wasn't aware of, although it doesn't actually surprise me. Yeah, what else do you want to say?
It's really angered me really over this deal. I've been looking forward to the age to be gutted. I just think we need to get someone who can be defenders, and we want to get someone who can get rid of this. We're looking at Mbappe, but we need someone who can really help us. We can't.
Sorry, Richard. I'm sure you're listening to me. It is just breaking up way too much for me to take that call at the moment. But that's another interesting point as well. I mean, he wasn't there for long, but he made a very, very good point that there is apparently this loyalty bonus as well. It's all about the money, and that's what annoys me. That United fans, especially, are saying, "Oh, you can't knock him for loyalty." You've clearly not looked into this and opened your eyes as to what's gone on. Oh, that looks good. Tridge Joe has made a contribution. He says, how can you guys defend him? He started the rumours himself and then later got a bigger and better contract at Atletico. You can't defend that. And I think that's my personal frustration. Obviously, United Stand, it's not the United Stand opinion, because there will be a percentage of people who back Griezmann, and therefore it's a democratic view and it's shared. Unless 100% of us all think the same, it's not the United Stand view. Obviously, it's my view. But I don't understand how people can defend him either, because they're basically putting Griezmann ahead of Manchester United. What time is the match, guys? Says Barath. We've got 50 minutes till that. We will start talking about Carrick and his legacy at United and what he's done for us at about 2 o'clock. But I want to talk about this Griezmann thing. I'd love to get somebody to come on and sort of defend him. Connor, can you hear me?
Hello, Mark. Can you hear me?
Yeah, lovely. Perfect. What did you want to say?
I just wanted to say I was gutted about the Griezmann transfer, but I think now we just need to move on and stop dwelling on what could have been. We need to get in the transfer market and get a replacement for him.
I agree. And who would you be looking at? Because I think last night we did the video, obviously post the Champions League final. I spoke about Bale. Thank God 99% of people watching realised I wasn't saying Bale was signing for United. I think it's 50-50. It was more of a show about why, if it happened, I'd be happy, because there's a lot of United fans who don't want him. Well, clearly we're not getting Griezmann. If you don't want Bale, who do people actually want?
I think Sanchez is a good shout, Mark. I think he's Premier League proven, and he would just be a brilliant player for United.
I agree. But I think if we could get him, he pretty much plays all the positions that Griezmann does. His mentality is obviously a lot stronger than Griezmann, because although he's probably been playing for a worse club at Arsenal, he has carried a lot of weight. We probably need to, United, that winning mentality, somebody like Mourinho managing him. But the thing I would say about Sanchez is you can almost mirror it to Van Persie. Van Persie, Arsenal didn't want him to come to Manchester United for obvious reasons. They wanted him to go to, I think it was Juventus or somebody in Italy. But he was adamant he wanted to come to Manchester United. I'm not convinced that Alexis Sanchez, I think he'd like to come to United, but it's whether he's going to dig his feet in like Van Persie did and say, I only want to go to Manchester United. If he does that, I think we can do it, but I just don't think he will. I think he'll be like, well, I'd like to go there, but if you're not going to let me go there, I'll go to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I have to agree. You know, he's kind of dropped off in the last half of the season when things get rough for Arsenal. He just kind of bottled it.
But I think under somebody like Jose Mourinho, as we've seen this season, he does get the best out of people eventually. And I mean, thinking about this is the problem, because when I look at the Griezmann thing, and we you're right, it needs to be parked. And I think after this sort of 20 minutes we're talking about it before the testimonial game, we'll certainly be avoiding him from now forever. I mean, he's gone, he's finished. He will never get another opportunity at United, as far as I'm concerned. But we have built our summer around it. It's very, very frustrating what he's done to the club. And he's left us in the lurch at a situation where if you've invested a lot of time in a deal like United have, it's very difficult at this late stage, even though the transfer window's only just started, to sort of move move on to somebody else. My concern is, I don't know whether we'll be able to get somebody of the status of a Griezmann at this late stage. We may have to settle for somebody like a Rodriguez, who could work out actually to be better, but isn't currently, one of the world's best number 10s. Is Rodriguez somebody you would go for? Or, I mean, we've mentioned Bale, we've mentioned Sanchez. I mean, there are other alternatives. Dybala, I mean, I know he didn't play well last night, but he is a decent player in that position. Obviously, some people think Neymar, but I think, they're pie in the sky. They can happen, but they're not. The chances of them happening are not high. I think I look around and people like James Rodriguez is probably the most obvious one. But I'm not convinced Mourinho was really that set on him, but he might have to be now. Griezmann has said no. think he's gone. I think we've lost him. I'm talking to myself. Do Skype in. There's a lot of you watching. It's Skype Goldbridge, all one word. We're talking about this Griezmann thing for the next 15 minutes before we move on to the game. And essentially what we want to know is what you think about it. We are going to park it, 100%. It will get parked. But I'd love to get somebody on who wants to come on and defend Griezmann and call him Mr. Loyal. Because, as I said, I totally and utterly do not agree with that myself. And I can't see how anybody would. But I've had Alex on about it on Twitter. Martin, who used to be on the show. You know, the floor's yours, lads. It's easy to sit and be a keyboard warrior, but you get the opportunity, and people don't want to come and back what they apparently believe in. Let's try Red Devil. Red Devil, can you hear me? Hello.
Hello.
I think we're having we don't normally do Skype at this time, I must say, and that can have a bit of a problem with the connection. But Steve, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mark. How you doing, mate? You okay?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. Just thought I'd make a point about the Griezmann deal.
Good.
Personally, I don't feel it's that bad of an option, because we've got plenty more options now. We can do whatever we want now. Griezmann, I respect him fully for saying that he couldn't be replaced in the transfer window. So, in my opinion of him, he's actually gone up rather than down. I know we all love Manchester United and etc., but it is nice in this day and age to have a player show some actual absolute class, and we just got to respect him for it, in my view.
No, I'm glad you've done it, because I think a lot of people think I'd jump on that. That's not how we do things on the United Stand. If someone comes out with a different opinion to me, I respect them for coming on the show and having that opinion. All I would say in relation to that, Steve, is that I just don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. I think what's happened is he's led United along all the way. United have got way cleverer minds than you and me and everybody else in relation to lawyers who will have known that transfer ban was could happen, and they would have spoken to him and said, what if that ban happens? And he would have been saying, oh, don't matter, I'm still going to come to you. Well, as the previous caller said there, he's going to earn a lot of money by staying at Atletico Madrid. I think Atletico Madrid on Thursday, when the ban has happened, have chucked a load of money at him, and he's changed his mind. I mean, that to me is not loyalty anyway, but I can see where you're coming from. But ultimately, my issue is Manchester United, and the thing is, I'm not talking about a player I don't like. Griezmann is a player that I've gone on about for a long, long time. But we must move on. But I don't agree with the loyalty thing. I think he's played us, and I think when he signs the new contract, that'll be proven. Because if he was just staying until the ban's over in January, he'd be looking for a move. If he's getting a new contract and new money, I think that kills that. But what about?
Yeah, I mean,
go on. Sorry.
I mean, I wouldn't have him anyway. Come January or next season, next August or whatever the transfer window opens next time, because he's going to be 28, and to pay a world record fee for a 28-year-old, I mean, in my view, it's I would not pay these release clause come next year. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think it would be. This was the one time we could have got him, and I think we should just move on to different targets now.
No, I agree. I mean, I do agree with that. I'd say, look, at the end of the day, transfer ban or not, they deserve that ban because they cheated. And I use the analogy at the start for those who've joined us late. If this is a Norwich City player and it's Manchester United, if he stays at Norwich, that's loyalty, because it's like, wow, you're staying at a lesser club rather than United. That's loyalty. Staying at a club because they're offering him a load of money, I don't see that as loyalty. But I do agree with you that with Manchester United, if he was really intent on playing for Manchester United, he'd be signing for United. And I don't want players who aren't intent on playing for us. And we must move on. And I agree. It's a one chance, and he's chose against it. That is his right. I can't moan at him for choosing Atletico Madrid over us. That's just the way it is. But
not at all.
Where do we look elsewhere though? That is a fact now. We must look elsewhere. Where would you look?
I mean, to be honest, I don't think anyone, including you. I mean, you've got your people who tell you what the little rumours, etc. But I honestly haven't got a clue who we're going to sign now, because he was the gem, the creme de la creme. He was going to be the person that lifted everybody, and now everyone's squatting around. All I'd say is, this time in this transfer window, when someone said Pogba was a done deal, I mean, I thought that was complete pipe dreams. Like, we were just completely mad. And now look at it, we got four of the best You know, it was the best transfer window I can remember as a United fan, and I'm nearly 30 years old. So it was a brilliant transfer window. To answer your question, I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I do like Perisic. He's a good, useful player, but like he seems like a replacement for Ashley Young rather than a person who's just going to walk straight into the first 11 and improve it. You need to be going after world class players like your Bales, etc. But mind you, I think we should look to Premier League. People who are proven in the Premier League. I do like Lukaku, even though he's got the first touch of, awful first touch. And I like Ross Barkley, even. And I tell you, no one's mentioned this name, but I like the left back for West Ham. I like Cresswell, but no one seems to mention him. I know I'm going to get completely ripped in the comment section or whatever, but I do like Cresswell, the left back for West Ham. I think he's useful.
Cheers, Steve. Good points, and I really appreciate you phoning in and saying what you've said. I know we don't agree, but that's fine. People will get a voice and they will be respected. So thanks.
That's football. I just want to thank you for doing what you do. I've never rang in before, but I'm a listener, and I do listen every day. So I'm loving your work. Okay.
Yeah. Cheers, Steve, and thanks for calling in. And please do call in again.
No problem. Cheers, Mark. Bye.
Thank you. I like Ross Barkley as well. I've said that before, and he has only got a year left on his contract, but. He's not a replacement for the Griezmann signing. And just picking up on what Steve was saying there, we should have no illusions. And I think this is where a little bit of my frustration comes from. This was our deal of the summer. This was our make everybody stand up and go, wow, look, they've signed Griezmann, third in the Ballon d'Or. This, you can't just move on from it that quickly because there aren't that many players that would fit that all over like a glove. From the marketing point of view at United, they would have loved it. From the number 7 shirt, having a decent number 7, from the fact that we needed a really good number 10, he fitted the position like a glove. He's gone. He's made his decision. He's gone. How we replace him is very, very difficult. And look, another thing Steve said about the Pogba thing, a lot of people didn't believe that was going to happen. Obviously, we were like, yeah, it will happen, and it did. And the same thing happened with Zlatan and Mkhitaryan. Bailly came from nowhere. The Griezmann thing was very similar to Pogba. It was going to happen. And on Thursday, Atletico Madrid pulled their magic, offered their pot of money, and Griezmann decided, I'm not that committed to United, and that's gone. I don't know any deal that's going to happen. Perisic probably will happen, but Steve's right again. He is more or less a replacement for someone like Ashley Young. He's much better than Ashley Young, and I think he'll become a fan favourite, but he can't be the big signing of the summer, and there's no way Mourinho will want him to be the big signing of the summer. He's just a player to come in and boost our squad in an area that we're quite weak with certain talents. I think the same would happen when we get Michael Keane. He comes in to be a better option than Phil Jones and Chris Smalling, hopefully. But any other player we're going to sign, I don't know. And that is the scary thing for United fans at the moment. I'm sure we will. I'm sure we'll be sat here at any time in the next 6 weeks going, what a signing, that's really exciting. But at the moment, we don't know. And have no illusions that Griezmann has thrown it into utter chaos. If you are new to the United Stand, we're very close, I've just seen, to 97,000 subscribers. So drop a subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and get involved with the community. We'll be live for the testimonial all the way through, Watchalong. It's nice to do one of these. We thought we'd finished until the new season. But we are live at 8:30 every night. We'll be live tonight with a Sunday Night Live. Used to always be the show where we reviewed what United had done at the weekend and the bigger topics. So Sunday Night Live tonight will be sort of an assessment of the week, all the news, and where United are going next week. So very transfer related. I know that's where we are at the moment. 7 a.m. every morning. You've got a transfer daily, about 10 minutes, 7 a.m. every morning, and then at 8:30 every night. And then we will also be reacting to every single credible bit of transfer news. I'm not going to react to Sky Sports breaking news saying we're interested in Ronaldo. And also, just to add another thing in there in case you weren't aware, another new thing we've got this summer that we've never done before. We like the transfer stuff and we're big into that, and I know a lot of you are very passionate about it. We will react to transfer news when it happens. So if we sign Perisic, we'll go live for 10 minutes or so and we'll go, yeah, this deal. But on the evening, if it happens in the day, on the evening at 8:30, we will do a bumper show, which is a Skype show where you call in and you have your say on the signing. So if we do sign Perisic at 1 o'clock on Tuesday, imagine if we do now, we'll go live with a little reaction. Then at 8:30, we'll go live, you Skype in and give us your thoughts on that signing. Because some people won't be happy with it. And I think that's very important with the United Stand, that we get both sides. Really, really important. We're nearly at 97,000. I'm going to take another call. For a few more minutes, we will just talk about this Griezmann thing and maybe other sides to that. Hello, can you hear me?
Hey Mark, how you doing?
Hi, is that Svi?
Yeah, this is me.
How you right, mate? What do you want to talk about, pal?
I don't know. I'm not sure if this was a Skype show or not, but I just joined a little bit late and I noticed an unfamiliar voice on Skype, so I thought maybe I should call in and give my opinion.
Yeah, basically, what we're talking about before, we're going to start talking about the Carrick Testimonial at 2 o'clock, which is 9 minutes away, and build towards that. But we've gone live half an hour before because Griezmann's come out and now said that he's staying at Atletico Madrid. And basically, there's a lot going on social media, on Twitter here, where obviously I'm very against that. I don't think he's loyal at all. I think he's messed Manchester United around. But you've got some fans who are like, oh, he's a great person, he's very loyal, leave him alone. So we're just getting people's opinion on it, really.
Yeah, no, I gotta say, I don't think I'd class that as loyalty. I mean, if something strange had happened and Atletico Madrid had gotten a crazy or unusual amount of injuries and therefore Griezmann wanted to stay, then sure, fine, that's loyalty. But the fact that they got the transfer ban, having broken FIFA rules, and he then decides to, in quotes, stay loyal to that club, for me, just shows that either one, he wasn't, as much as he, we all thought he wanted to join Man United, either he really wasn't all that serious about it, or he just, it would have been for the pay rise, and that's it. For the prestige. He never really wanted to, play for the shirts. He just wanted to be able to say that, fair enough, I've worn David Beckham's number 7 shirts, and that's the end of it. So I mean, if that's how he really feels, then I'm perfectly fine with us not signing him. And to echo the words of what the previous caller said, this is it. This was your one chance. If you're not going to join us now, then forget it. That's it. It's the end of the day for you.
I'm going to come back to that. We've had a contribution from Mike Riley. Some people are getting excited thinking it's £1,000. It's 1,000 Philippine, whatever, I can't remember what they call it, but it works out to about 15 sterling pounds. So it's still a big contribution from Mike. So thank you for that, Mike. And remember, you can contribute through the super chat, but always leave us a question so we can read it out. And we are doing that thing now where 25% of the super chats will be going to charity. It's Macmillan for this month, but we're going to change it every month, and we'll obviously notify you of how much that will be. But Mike says, how can it be about money? Atletico Madrid cannot afford to pay him £300,000 a week. It has to be about the ban, and that's why Manchester United came out straight away and said they're moving on before Griezmann made his post. Mike, thank you. It's hard to disagree with somebody who's made a contribution, so I don't really want to do it. But, Mike, Atletico Madrid have got about £50 million burning a hole in their pocket because they can't sign Andre Lacazette. And they have got money. They can't spend it this summer, so they have spent it on Griezmann's new contract. And you will find out very, very soon how much of an increase he is getting on his contract. So it will be about the money, but that will get confirmed in a few days. But ultimately, I'm just going back to what you were saying there, Spee. I think whatever anybody thinks about it, you can't, loyalty or not, you cannot move away from the fact that if he wanted to play for Manchester United and wear the number 7 shirt, I mean, this isn't like signing for Arsenal. This is like signing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, the most iconic shirts in the world, for a club that's just got into the Champions League, is going to challenge for the Premier League next year, a club that's potentially going to make history, and you're going to be the figure point of that team in the best shirt that club has. If you turn your back on that because somebody's got a ban that everybody knew they were going to get, you were never right for United anyway. And I think that's where people like me and probably you and a few others are. It's like, sod the loyalty. He never really had the mentality that's right for United anyway, and we move on and don't want him.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. I mean, look, I've personally always had my reservations about the Griezmann deal, but I mean, as we've discussed before, with me, it's way more about playing, the youngsters and the local lads and so on, and basing on our most recent history, how the Galactical signings haven't really all worked out for us. So as much as I was excited to sign Griezmann, I have always had my reservations, and I have to 100% agree with you in that if that really is his mindset, like, I don't want to sign players just because we can pay their wages. I would much rather we sign players who have always dreamed of playing for United, and players who realize just the stature of the club that they are joining and the potential that we have now that we have one of the best managers in the world. I would much rather get a player who is absolutely willing to give it all. If we could sign a player with the mentality of Fellaini, I would absolutely love that. And now that the whole Griezmann deal has gone belly up, I honestly think forget it. Forget about Griezmann. Let's move on from there. Let's follow Jose Mourinho 100%. I'm excited about a potential Perisic signing. I'm even excited about us re-signing the Burnley defender Keane. I mean, in that, Jose Mourinho, the tactical mastermind, and he knows exactly what he wants out of the players. I'm excited for the players that he wants, because if he can sign players, it's like if you almost, if you think back to the Ferguson years, in that how we very rarely ever signed a Galactical player, but we always manage to win competitions. It's always those players that no one ever really thinks about, and those players no one really expects much from, who are willing to play for the shirt. Those are the players I think we should be going for. So it's been nice. It's been real. Thank you, Griezmann, for the speculation and selling a bunch of papers. But enjoy your time at Atletico Madrid, winning absolutely no trophies.
I do. I think he'll regret it. But maybe he won't regret it, because maybe he just doesn't have that winning mentality. Maybe he's happy just playing somewhere where it's sunny, because he seemed to keep mentioning that, and I really thought it was a smokescreen. But maybe that's important to him, having a sunny climate where he plays. But to be honest, if I'd been fortunate enough to be a professional footballer, I'd want to play for the big clubs in the world. I'd want to win the trophies, and then I'd retire at 35 to 40, and then I'd live in the sun with a load of medals on my in my mantelpiece. But not everyone's different. Be interesting to see what happens with the rest of his career. Maybe he wants to go to somebody else. Maybe he's always wanted to play for Real Madrid or Barcelona, and United was never part of the plan.
Well, I mean, look, if first of all, if that's how he really thinks, and he enjoys the weather and so on, then I think we really dodged a massive bullet there, because that's not the type of mentality player that we need. I mean, can you imagine him coming up against a really physical Stoke side or a high pressing Liverpool side? I mean, if the weather and so on is really important to him, how would he cope against that? I mean, I've watched Spanish football, and honestly, the attacking players have so much more space and freedom than they do in the Premier League. So, I mean, if he's happy about staying in that type of league, then honestly, maybe we dodged a massive bullet, world record signing that, might not have cut it in the Premier League. I don't know. I was really excited for the signing, but, based on what we see now, then I mean we might potentially have dodged a bullet there. That's that. And I mean, you look at like Wayne Rooney, for example, who's a diehard Everton fan. I mean, don't his kids play for Everton or something? I don't know. I mean, I stand to correction there, but he's a diehard Everton fan. But he realized that for his career, he needs to join a massive club that wins everything. And now he's our highest goal scorer in history. He's won almost everything there is to win. And, I mean, that's the type of player that you want, someone with a really tough mentality who wants to win it all. And based on what we've just seen, it doesn't seem that's the case for Griezmann, which is confusing, because if you look at his options, we were really the best bet. I mean, there's no ways he's going to Real Madrid. If he's so loyal to Atletico, there's no ways he's going to Real. I don't see him going to Barcelona, given their attacking options already. I guess the next best thing is either Bayern Munich or PSG. But I mean, if that's where he wants to go, then he might as well stay in Spain, because those are all pub leagues anyway. I don't see Bayern Munich having the money to buy him. Maybe PSG, but Man United was his best bet. And given that he was supposedly such a massive fan, he's really, really lost out. I don't even think it's a maybe. I think this is definitely a decision he's going to regret.
Okay, well, thanks, Svee. That's very, very good points. I know you're calling in from South Africa, and please do call in again. Definitely will do, Mark. Thanks a lot. Thanks, pal. I think that concludes the Griezmann stuff for now, because actually he's never going to come to United, is he? He's blown his chance, and we now, at 2 o'clock, I did promise it, I'm not going to carry on about that anymore. We'll revisit it tonight at 8:30, because we'll be reviewing what United do now in the transfer window, what's going on over the last week, and what we think will happen this week, and who we're actually linked to. Obviously, there's been developments around Morata and De Gea and Anthony Martial, but that's for tonight at 8:30. We'll get back on the transfers there. What I want to talk about now is this what we're doing. We're doing the Michael Carrick testimonial. We're doing the watch along for that, which is a real pleasure to be able to do it. Like I said, the last watch along we did was the Europa League final, and we thought that would be it until pre-season. But this is an opportunity that everyone can watch it in the UK. It's on ITV, and you can have it as a watch along as well. What I'm expecting from it, well, first of all, let's just talk about Michael Carrick, because when it comes to players who actually want to play for Manchester United and get what Manchester United are about, he may be Mr. Quiet, he may not be Mr. Glamour, but he is Mr. Consistent and Mr. Very Important for Manchester United. I think it's no coincidence that when he was brought into United by Sir Alex Ferguson, United suddenly started to hit some consistent form. We'd had a couple of barren years. Yes, Ronaldo and Rooney were still quite young, but Carrick came in and suddenly the midfield had a platform. With the likes of Scholes, obviously, it helps having Scholes there, but we had a platform with Carrick. One of my favourite players at United. I'm glad that he's sort of swayed towards the majority now, because there were times, even amongst United fans, when he used to split opinion. You used to hear things like Carrick's Marmite. You know, some people like him, some people hate him, and I think that's just been a myth. He's not Marmite. He's caviar. He's an acquired taste, I accept. But if you know football, then you know how good Carrick is, because he's never going to run past 5 or 6 players and put it in the top corner. That's not what he does. His positional sense is fantastic. I remember a line I said a couple of years ago, and it's very true. In 2012, Roy Hodgson, unfortunately, was England manager, and the Euros came up, and he took Scott Parker instead of Michael Carrick, who Michael Carrick in 2012 was still a very, very good, still the best English midfielder around, to be honest, for that position, holding the midfield. And Hodgson took Scott Parker, and the press backed that, because what they saw in Scott Parker, I mean, if anyone can remember who he is, where is he now? He was a last-ditch tackle, heart on the sleeve, we need that sort of player for England. I've very rarely seen Michael Carrick do last-ditch tackles. Do you want to know why? He doesn't need to. He's in the right place in the right time already. His positional sense is immaculate. His passing of the ball, he can make a 40-yard pass off both feet look like a 5-yard pass to another player. Very good in the air, actually, quite tall. It doesn't need to be super fast because, like I say, his positional sense is great. England messed up Paul Scholes' career, so it's not shocking to say this, but the misuse of Carrick by England over the years is just ridiculous. And whatever you think about Pep Guardiola or Barcelona players or anything like that, the fact that many people in Europe constantly go on about Michael Carrick and say, I would have had Carrick in my Barcelona side, that's from Guardiola, it's just testament to what a player he is and how, I don't care what anybody says, on the continent, football is way more technical and way more poetic than the fast-paced, rough-and-tumble English Premier League. And Carrick is a player that's appreciated over there. So he's been an absolute joy to have as a Manchester United player. It's sad that he's coming towards the end. I think over the last season we've seen more injuries. We've certainly seen games that he just can't dictate now. Liverpool at home, he just, it's natural. He's in his mid-30s. He's on the decline. That's what happens. But I was so happy he got another year, because I think as a professional, he's never somebody who's in the press. He's not out drinking. He's not out having affairs and stuff like that. He's a solid man. As well, I don't know the bloke, but he appears to be. Loves Manchester United, gets what it's all about, and it's nice to have this opportunity today to give Michael Carrick that sort of, not a send-off, but appreciation, because quiet players, consistent players are, he's the perfect ambassador for Manchester United, and we had it for Rooney in August, didn't we? But this feels more important, because he isn't somebody who's had the press up his backside all his career. He's just quietly gone about his business. And I think the exciting thing about today as well is some of the players we're going to see. I mean, obviously Ronaldo can't play because he's just won the Champions League last night. Tevez, I think, is playing in China. O'Shea's playing for Ireland. Nani's playing for Portugal. And I think Anderson is playing, he's probably having a kebab somewhere. But everybody else is playing. The back four, it's not going to be what it was 10 years ago. Vidic, Ferdinand, Everett and Gary Neville. We may never get to see them playing again at Old Trafford. Look, I would predict that people like Michael Carrick, John Terry, Wayne Rooney will look like Messi today, because they are still playing high-level football, and they are going to be playing very good footballers who've been retired for quite a while. People like, I think Ferdinand might be all right, but he's going to be way off the Premier League standard. Scholes, Gary Neville, probably not going to be that great. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be good to watch them. Berbatov as well. Obviously, I've said Rooney, Giggsy. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good old watch. And score predictions, I just hope we see a load of good goals, really. It's an exhibition game. What I don't want to see is people saying, "Oh, we should keep Rooney off this form." I think Rooney could score 4 or 5 goals in this game and look like Messi because he is still playing high level football. You know, he's not standing out in the United team, but in an exhibition like this against ex-pros who don't play regularly, those who do play regularly should really be standing out, and I would predict that would happen. Lampard and Gerrard are injured, unfortunately. Hallam says Rooney hat-trick. Yeah, I think Rooney will stand out quite well. Tonio's talking about transfers. We'll leave that till 8:30. We're going to focus on this now because obviously we're getting close to kick off at 8:30. 2:30. 8:30's on my mind. But yeah, I think I've said my bit about Carrick there. I'd like to get some other opinions as well. I'm not totally aware of who's going to be playing for the All-Stars. I think I saw, Carragher plays, John Terry plays, Michael Owen. I think the people like Seedorf and Mendieta, they've been doing the old All-Stars rounds for a while. So they've long been retired. So I think our side should beat their side, but we'll see what happens. Anderson is having a kebab, yep. And Carrick is a genius, says Peter Newbold. His anchor play, picking passes, is on a par with Pirlo equivalent for England. Ruined him internationally, and it was our gain, which is true. Yeah, you know, the fact that he hasn't been playing international football for so long may well have given him an extra couple of years with United because he is mid-30s now. You look at Rooney, just 31, 32, isn't he now? And he's been shot for the last 3 years, and you know the games he's given for England. Michael Owen will get injured, says Hallam. Wes Brown, remember his potential, says Joe Salisbury. Yeah, I think Wes Brown is part of the squad, and I think Phil Neville's actually playing for the All-Stars because he would have... I don't think he was part of the... I think he'd left by then, hadn't he? Ji-Sung Park is playing, Harry, yes. Another good... Another thing, what I would say about Perisic is that I think Perisic, if we sign him, is going to be that sort of a Ji-Sung Park, a Valencia, Herrera sort of player. Not a Galactico, but somebody who actually it becomes very, very important to the team and a sort of a cult hero. Fellaini fan says, when's Fellaini's testimonial? We won't be doing a watch-along for that. Where can I watch this game, says Rob L. MUTV, but if you're in the UK, it's on ITV as well. I don't want to look at your face, says Olango. Nice. I'd already read it, Mad Marcus, and he took it down. The United fan says, I think Giggs will score 3 goals. It'd be interesting to see Giggs. Look, it's an exhibition game. It's a bit of fun, and we'll be treating it as that. You're not going to learn anything about what the game is or these players should be playing for United next year. That's not what it's about. It's an exhibition game, but it's nice to see the 08 side back together and playing. I think if Ronaldo had played in it, he probably would have scored about 50 goals. That's how the standard will not be at the top level. But that's not what it's about, is it? And it's great that it's a sellout. Obviously, there's the Manchester concert at Old Trafford for the Manchester bombing afterwards. That's why it's slightly earlier. Van der Sar's in goal. Dazzy's gaming, you're right. And Emperor of Persia says, I'd hate to see 0-0. Yeah, that Rooney one was just absolutely a joke, wasn't it, at the start of the season? The Rooney, we didn't do a watch along for that because I was actually in London. But to have a 0-0 testimonial really just sort of sum up Rooney's last 3 years at United. It's just not gone to plan, has it? But thanks everybody for subscribing. We've gone past 97,000. If you are new to the United Stand, make sure you click the subscribe and the like button and get involved. It is a fantastic community, as you can see on the live comments there. And it's nice just to do this extra one today. We weren't sure whether they're going to do it, but a lot of people said, can we do it? And Vosh makes a very good point. Mark, I would trade my house to have this team back in its prime. It's a fantastic team. And when you add in Ronaldo and Tevez to it as well, Berbatov's playing, it is and was an absolutely fantastic team. I remember us doing that a couple of years ago. We did a show on who was better, 99 or 08. And I would put 99 ahead, but the 08 team is not, the fact that you're having that debate just says how good it is. Defensively, the back four in 08 is better than 99, but the midfield of 99 is incomparable. Keane, Scholes, Beckham and Giggs is probably the best midfield I've ever seen. And then up front, you probably would have Ronaldo and Rooney over Cole and York, but Schmeichel in goal. So it's a pretty even split, really. A pretty even split. Obviously, Gary Neville was probably better in 99 than he was in 08. And Gary Neville didn't even play in 08. I've just realised Wes Brown played there. So Gary Neville from 99 would definitely play. Evra from... well, no, he probably wouldn't. You'd probably have Irwin over Evra. So yeah, 99 comes out on top. But there were some very good players in 08. Certainly Vidic and Ferdinand would be my choice over Stam and Johnson from 99, and Ronaldo would get in as well, but the 99 team would come out on top. Mark, if we lose De Gea and get Morata and James, would we replace him with Cameron? Look, I love talking about transfers, Cameron, but it feels disrespectful to start talking about transfers when we're doing this for Michael Carrick's Watchalong, and to have a little bit of fun and a bit of an exhibition game and sort of a glance back into the past together. 8:30 tonight, we'll do the transfer review of the week, and we will really get into that, and there is a lot of stuff to talk about around that. But got an Arsenal fan laughing that we got rejected by Griezmann. I tell you what, that is like I can't even. I'm struggling to think of a comparison of an Arsenal fan laughing at United fans for getting rejected by a world-class player. When Arsenal, you're in the Europa League, we've been there, it's horrible. You didn't. You won an FA Cup, so what? We did that with Van Gaal, and you're not going to sign anybody. I mean, I've heard that they've offered £87 million for Mbappe. You could offer him £500 million. He's never going to sign for you. Never going to sign for you. So get back on your box. Van der Sar for us in goal, and Given for them. John Leander says he thinks 08 is the best team ever. We were actually nearly a Galactico team. Probably too old to remember the 99 team, mate, but the 99 team was better. Absolutely. There's no... They won a treble. Although, the 08 team should have won the treble as well. It's one of my real pet hates, is that they should have won a treble. And it's quite ironic that Harry Redknapp is managing the All-Stars today, because I think he was managing Portsmouth in the FA Cup. Absolutely awful refereeing decision in the game. We had a couple of penalties we should have had. They got a penalty and they won 1-0. We would have won Portsmouth won the FA Cup that year. We would have won the FA Cup. We would have won the treble, but it wasn't to be. But they were very close to being a treble winning side. The United fan says, "Do you think Van der Sar will keep a clean sheet?" Oh, I'd like to see 5-4 or something like that. That's what exhibition games should be all about. It should be a good old laugh. Marching Wizard says Gerrard's bottled the game like Liverpool bottled the league. He probably would have got a bit of stick, but yeah, I mean, amazed that Michael Carrick. The British press are the worst though, because the British press over the years have sort of dictated. The England manager normally gets, like Ericsson definitely did, Roy Hodgson did, they get very led by the press because they're terrified of the press, and if you've got as many skeletons as your closet as old Randy Schwen had, I think he used to try and keep the press on side so that they didn't start delving into his little excursions. But we saw it with Schwen and Scholes, and the press just, especially because the press used to be very London-based, they were clamouring for a Lampard and Gerrard midfield, which ruined England for 10 years, because as good as those two players were, there's no balance there. Neither of them want to defend. One of them should have been on the bench and one of them should have played. You pick a team that's balanced. You don't just pick two midfielders that are the same, because you become like... It was ineffective. And Scholes ended up getting pushed out of the England team for Lampard, which was a joke, and quite rightly Scholes walked away from it. And the same thing sort of happened with Carrick, because the press never got what Carrick was about, because Carrick didn't score 40-yard screamers and he didn't run past 4 or 5 players, and he wasn't a last-ditch tackler. The basic English media, who just don't understand cultured football, they just want kick and rush, never understood that in Michael Carrick we had one of the best midfielders in Europe who could dictate a midfield, and it's a shame for him that he never got all those caps, because the thing is, as a Manchester United player, as a Manchester United fan, I put Manchester United ahead of England now these days, and have done for a number of years, because I've seen the mess that England are and how badly they are run. But of Michael Carrick's point of view, I think it's a personal. It's something that bothers him because even till recently, he always put himself forward for England. I think he always wanted to play for England, and they treated him like absolute crap, to be honest. But United haven't, and I think he's. I'm sure when he retires, he can look back on the many titles he's won and the European Cup and FA Cups and everything else he's done for United, and the fact that legend status is legend status at United. It's an exclusive club, and you shouldn't give it out to. There shouldn't be 50 legends for United. I mean, for some people there might be, but for me personally, if you're a Manchester United legend, it's a very select club. You know, you've got your Bobby Charlton, your Duncan Edwards, your George Best, your Dennis Law, your people like more recent people, your Robsons, your Keanes, your Cantonars. And would I put Carrick in there? I probably wouldn't put him in the legend status, but there's some people I wouldn't put in the legend status anyway, that many of you would. But he's been a United great, and it's nice that he's going to get this. Kickoff is about 14 minutes away, Adam. I will do we may as well do it properly. We will update the scores, and I will set the timer for you as well. So remember to share the video and get as many people watching as possible. We're doing rubbish on the likes today, folks. We're doing absolutely rubbish. You're always going to get a lot of dislikes because of the bitter rivals that have got nothing to do, because they don't have any greats that they can do testimonials for that the world will sit and watch. So drop us a like on the video. Let's get to 1,000. And remember, Dan Butterworth, who will be United's number 7 next year? Well, that's something we'll be talking tonight about at 8:30 as well. But not for now. Let's keep it positive. Let's keep it to Carrick. And just remember I hadn't tweeted it out. Francesca is getting excited. I think it'll be a good game. It's exhibition games are always. I went to watch the Old Trafford one with some of the United Stand boys 2 years ago. It would have been exactly 2 years ago. We went to watch the Legends play. I think it was Bayern Munich Legends, and to be fair, at half time we just went and watched it on the TV and had a few beers because the standard was pretty crap. I think it might be slightly better today because there are a few players who are still playing. But I hope we get a few goals in it. I'd be surprised if people like Paul Scholes can play 90 minutes. And it'll be interesting to see how they do it. But Anurag, I know we've wrote Premier League. It's just something we just decided to do this sort of short notice, so not too worried about that. Gary Neville's on the bench, says Dan Butterworth. Exactly, that's what I was going to say. Be very surprised if people like. I mean, Gary Neville. If you saw his last game for United against Stoke, he looked like he looked like a 45-year-old. Then he was finished. So playing 90 minutes for Gary is. It's going to be difficult when you've not played for a long time. It's difficult. These lads are into their 40s. And the only way we'd beat Atletico in the Champions League is with Griezmann in our team, says Anton. Oh, God. Whatever. Atletico Madrid are never going to win anything. Hope it's more exciting than Rooney, says Eric Marsh. Manuel says Man United for life. That reminds me, actually, it is a watch-along, so we have to do this. It's one of my favourite things we do on a watch-along. Get commenting and tell us where you're watching from, and then hit a like. But where you're watching from, and we'll start shouting you out because, oi oi, it's Love Island. It's nice that, if anyone was watching that Love Island, you know what I was oi oiing about. Let us know where you're watching from, because when we do the watch along, we get people from all over the world. So it'd be interesting to see whether we're very UK based today, or whether we have got a lot of people watching worldwide. I'll keep you up to date with what's going on. Don't worry about that. And no, there won't be. Somebody just said, are you going to do a match reaction? Look, we're not going to take it that far. It's off season. It's a bit of fun so that we can all sort of like watch what we're all going to be watching this anyway. And if you're not watching it, we'll keep you updated with what's going on. It's just a bit of a Sunday afternoon, if you're in UK or wherever you are, a little watch along, a little community United stand thing where we can all just have a little bit of a laugh and enjoy a bit of football. To do a match reaction on it would be odd. Oh, what rubbish! Sack Sir Alex. Scholes was rubbish. He's past it. Don't let him wear again. I mean, there's just no point in doing a match reaction. But we have got a show at 8:30 tonight, which I think is going to be really good because there's lots to talk about around the transfers and real life. But this is just a break from the norm, and Let me just see where people are watching from, because we have got quite a range. I'm surprised by this. We've got Ramez in Jamaica, we've got Usman in Dubai, we've got Jürgen in Kenya and Bristol. Pogboom is actually on Love Island. Lucky you. Lewis Webber's in Miami. Zubair is in Cape Town. Ha Banter is in his bed, naked. Philo is in Switzerland. Uganda for Matto. Ireland for Nathan. Australia for Professor Fatcakes. And Norway. United States for Walter. Love Island. Oh, I've read that one already. Manchester, Hallam. Watching from Portugal, says Mega. Bristol for Brad. Mauritius for Kashik. Guyana for Sean. Bosnia for Anonymous07. Lithuania for Mantis Rudya. And we've got London, New Zealand, Kidderminster, Stockport, Norway, Denmark. Chad's in hospital. Mauritius, Pangai. Romania, Liverpool, Indonesia, Pangai, Nigeria, London West, Norway, Syria, Salford for Travis, Melbourne for Fine. And I must just say, I normally do have Mad Marcus joining me for this on a watch along. He might be jumping on at half time, but if you're aware of what's gone on in London, more terrorism attacks, and I totally agree with what the Prime Minister said. Things have got to change. You can't carry on with this now. It's sad that people. My youngest actually said when we were in the car this morning, and she was like, "Oh, not another one." And that's what must not happen. We must not just get used to another one. It must always be impactful in our lives and unacceptable and disgraceful. And that's what we must cling on to, because the more regular it comes, the more desensitized you become to it. We can't be apathetic. We must stand together, and hard decisions must be made. But Mad Marcus can't be on today because, tragically, I don't want to say too much about it because it's his thing. But he has been impacted by what's happened in London last night. He might come on at half time. He's not in a very good place, which is understandable. But thoughts with him and thoughts with everybody when this happens. And again, obviously, the Manchester thing happened only a couple of weeks ago. A concert where kids were. It's disgraceful. So we do stand together. Don't move away from whatever the silly little things are, whether it's disagreeing with somebody's political views or blaming the government or blaming somebody because they're a bit liberal or whatever like that. The blame is 100% with the people who decide to go and do these things. If you give them excuses, they will take that excuse. Nobody makes them go and do what they do. Nobody. And they are the evil. Don't fall apart. Don't splinter off arguing about because you've got different beliefs or whatever they are. Stand together, and I think United Stand is a very good word. That it's not just a football channel. Let's all stand together as human beings, because we are. It's innocent people being targeted, no matter what their religion, no matter what their beliefs. Innocent people are being killed by idealistic, evil people. And we must stand together. We must stand together. So thoughts with everybody who's impacted by that. And as usual, I would say the emergency services were absolutely amazing last night. Absolutely amazing. These lads who did this, or I don't even want to call them lads, people, scum, who did this had actually taped up pretend suicide vests to them, and still the emergency services go in, not knowing whether they're going to go off or anything like that. Very quick response. Shoot to kill, which I totally agree with, and unfortunately, obviously the damage had been done. But when people are running away, quite rightly, those people are running towards the danger and helping us out. And when you've got people like that, it is at least something. And there's many people who share that. I think if the army and the police opened up recruits tomorrow, they'd be inundated because people want to do something, and whoever's in charge needs to listen to that and do something about it, because I think it will get the backing. But this is about Michael Carrick, and we're very close to kick off. Well, let's wait and see what we're going to get. It's going to be interesting and fun, and I'm looking forward to it. United absolutely packed. I must say, when I went to the Legends game, it wasn't packed. So that in itself, a testimonial, to have it absolutely packed out like that is great. I think that's Michael Carrick's other half and his kids. Sir Alex coming out. Just looking at the opposition, because I can't remember. Robbie Keane's playing for the opposition as well. Damien Duff. There's a few Irish players, given Duff and Keane. Mendieta is playing for them. Obviously, our team, I can go through it in a minute. I haven't actually seen it confirmed. And Van der Sar's in goal. Anyway, I think somebody said that Gary Neville's on the bench. Evra playing, and obviously Evra's still playing at a good level as well. So there's a few players that are still playing at a good level, which I think they will really stand out. So people like Evra, Carrick, Rooney in our team, they should really stand out as players that are still. I mean, John Terry still playing at a high level. Interesting to see how Giggsy does. Rio Ferdinand keeps himself in shape. I mean, there'll be a massive fall off. To be honest, there'll be a massive fall off in, playing Premier League football and then getting fit to just playing a testimonial. But I think it'll be competitive, and I think we're all going to get a bit of entertainment, which is great. Berbatov. I don't know whether Berbatov's still playing, but he's kept himself quite fit, hasn't he? Darren Fletcher, of course, yes, he's still playing. So there's a few. Scholes is starting. Jason Park, Patrice Evra, Seedorf on the other team. Great reception for Carrick. Somebody just made a very good question. Are they playing 45 minutes each way? I imagine they are. As soon as the teams flash up, I'll let you know. If you're looking to watch it as well as keep on the watch-along, it's on ITV in the UK and it's on MUTV. You have to be a subscriber, I think, if you live in the UK to watch it, or it's on the MUTV app, which is, I think, available worldwide, so you can get to see it. Ben Hadfield, I wish Ronaldo was playing. Look, he's got the perfect excuse. He's just won the Champions League, man of the match, but in a way, I don't think it would have been great to see him, but he would have been way too good for this. Way too good for it. Vidic is playing Matto. He is. Nostalgic. And Zahash, I think, has got it hit the nail on the head there. It is nostalgic. It's not kicking off for a couple of minutes yet, pal. David Allen Taylor on about Ronaldo calling Sir Alex Ferguson boss yesterday. That's a loving. I mean, I think if Sir Alex Ferguson had stayed on a little bit longer, and I think he did have another couple of years in him, he obviously retired because of his wife. I think there was a good chance that he would have come back, but it wasn't to be. I don't think we'll actually see Ronaldo ever back at Manchester United. I'd love to have him back. You saw him yesterday. He didn't have a particularly great game for United, if I'm honest. I wish United for Real Madrid, but he still gets a couple of goals. That's Ronaldo now. That's what he's evolved into. I think the Ronaldo that we saw, he was a fantastic player that used to run at the opposition and score all sorts of goals. Not quite that player anymore. He's more of just an absolute demon in the box. But I'd love him back. I think it'd be great as a replacement for Zlatan, but I can't ever see it happening. I don't know what people think. I don't actually think that we'll see Gareth Bale happen either. I don't know whether they're doing a minute's silence here. Yeah, I'm only going quite there because I didn't know whether there was going to be a minute silent. I don't want to miss that. Are you going to show the match? No, we can't do that. It's illegal to do that, I'm afraid. So we can't do that. And it is a watch along. And if you are new to the United stand, you'll know that United games during the season we do the watch along. But we cannot show you the game because that would be copyright. So we can't do that. It is a watch along. It's a laugh. We have people commenting. We read your comments out, and you can get involved that way. And we'll keep you abreast of what's actually happening. But I'm very wary that I don't want to talk over a minute silence if they're going to do that, because I'm sure that they might do it. So Wonder the left foot, Jack Steels. Evra back is nice, but it's interesting. Evra said this season that he nearly came back to United, but somebody at United stopped it. I mean, who was that somebody? Ed Woodward's there, says MP, and he's going to go and have a chat with him. Announce Griezmann. Kick-off should be now. They need to kick it off. Hala Manu. Bale is injury prone and not worth it, says Shrek the Ogre. Well, we spoke about that last night. If you don't want Bale, who do you want? We're not 31 minutes in. No, I need to refresh that for you. Sorry. Oh, just get on with the bloody game. It was meant to be 2:30 kickoff. Is Carrick talking at the moment? The game has not started. Kindaza says, where did the transfers go? Where did the transfer shows go? Well, we did one last night, and we're doing one tonight at 8:30. We will. Don't worry. We will be very transfer centric. I think everyone just needed a couple of days off from the transfers because we've all just been sort of wounded by the Griezmann thing of the last few days. But we will be back at 8:30 tonight talking about transfers and where United are at, where they need to go over the next few days. I don't know whether people picked up on it this morning about Fabinho. We feel that Fabinho will come to United, but Juventus yesterday and then Man City today. So I think if we start missing out on that sort of player, then we are going to get gutted, aren't we? If Rooney scored, would it increase his goal tally for Man United, says Nightcrawler? No, not at all. I mean, as I said a few minutes ago, for those who've joined us a little bit late, if Rooney has a worldie today, which I would expect him to, don't suddenly think we should keep him next year. He's playing against people who've been retired for a long time. It's an exhibition game, and I think people like Evra, Carrick, Rooney, John Terry, they should be playing. They should be stood out. They should be like streets ahead of everyone today because they are still playing football at a high level. So, yes, we'll see what happens with there. Shorty 21, it says it's weird to see Carrick say so many words for a quiet man. To be honest with you, I wish he would shut up. I'm only joking, but I wish he'd just get on with the game. He's been chatting for ages. Do it at the end. We want to watch the match. It was meant to kick off at 2:30. Still not kicked off by the whale. We'll start the timer as soon as it does. Super Frank will smash in a 40-yard long shot. Super Frank's not playing. I think he's injured as well. Gerrard and Lampard were supposed to play. Not. Carragher is quite tight. I mean, EMH Gaming says Rooney should dance past Carragher. Carragher is quite a dirty sod. I watched him playing in an exhibition game a few months ago, and he likes a tasty tackle. Hope we are getting Lindelof. There was somebody here. Harry Ballbag says United get snubbed by top players every year. The cry babies need to learn to be patient. We didn't get snubbed last year, mate. We signed the one player that everybody wanted, Pogba. Kwame, a very good point. He says Ji-Sung Park actually plays for his university. Yeah, he does. He does, yeah. And Sir Alex Ferguson is managing the 08 side, as he did in 08, and Harry Redknapp is managing the other side. I tell you what, I wish they'd just bloody start the game. It's not kicked off yet, Rafif. It was meant to kick off 5 minutes ago, but it's taken a little while. Just in relation to the United stand, if you are new, remember to subscribe. The bottom right-hand corner is the hologram. When you do subscribe, click the bell. You'll get notifications when we go live. We'll be going live a lot during the summer in reaction to transfers in and out of the club. But if you're looking for steady, scheduled material on the United stand, 7 o'clock every morning is our transfer show, and 8:30 every night is our more review of the day, sort of talking about transfers and stuff. We've always got the live comments up on the screen. It's very much about your opinion. It's a fantastic community, an independent fan channel made for the fans by the fans, so get involved. And I must just say, if you didn't see the first half an hour, we went live half an hour before talking about Griezmann, a very interesting first half an hour. And 8:30 on a Thursday and a Monday is Skype Goldbridge, we call it. We go live and we take your calls, and you can dictate whatever you want to do. That's what the United Stand's all about. And if you missed it as well, when we sign a player this summer, or when a player leaves at 8:30 on that evening, it's something new we're doing this year. We will actually go. The 8:30 show will be a Skype show. So if we sign Perisic 8:30 that night, we'll go live, and you'll get to say your say about that transfer, which I think is going to be interesting with some signings. So United's team: Van der Sar, Brown, Ferdinand, Vidic, Evra, Carrick, Fletcher, Park, Scholes, Giggs, Rooney. We'll play Given, Salgado, Carrick, Terry, Abadal, Senna, Seedorf, Mendieta, Keane, Duff, Owen. To be honest, it's a mismatch if those are all in their primes. We'd absolutely batter them. I think it's really just... Darren Fletcher still plays as well, so I think our team is swayed with more people who are still playing at a high level. You look at Rooney, you look at Fletcher, you look at Carrick, Evra, all still playing at a high level of football, and the others, apart from John Terry, not really. So moving towards the kickoff. Prediction, Mark, says Ewan. Oh God, I don't know. 5-4. DJM32 says, why is Michael Owen on the other team? Because he didn't play in 08 for United, didn't win a Champions League with United, so no. Jack Steels wants to... he says, can you give me the definition of tenacious, Mark? There are some words that I do use quite regularly when talking about... sometimes about transfers and stuff, and there is going to be a minute's silence, everybody, so we will obviously adhere to that. And then I'll tell you what tenacious means. But Wand of a left foot's another one. Wand of a left foot Rodriguez could well be coming to United. I think with the collapse of the Griezmann deal, if people don't want Bale, Rodriguez could be a shout. I just don't know whether Mourinho's in for that, but it will be interesting to see. Looks like there will be a minute silent. I'll announce it, Katie, don't worry. Impeccable, as you would expect, especially in an exhibition game. But you know, I always think when there's a minute's silence and you take through that minute, a minute is a long time, isn't it? And they were saying last night how great the emergency service were in reacting so quickly. But a minute is a long time. People are doing question marks. It was a minute's silence for what's gone on, both in Manchester and obviously, I presume, for London last night. MDNYF says start the match, you absolute tool. Can we get rid of MDNF and MDNYV? Can we block him and get him never on the United Stands live comments again? I don't want anything to do with hating idiots like that. Thanks. Get rid of him. The game is about to kick off, so I will do the timer for you, and we'll keep you updated with what's going on. I'll predict Rooney will get at least 3. He will look like Messi in this game because he's up against people who just don't really play anymore. Come on, let's start it. We're very close to 1,000 likes, folks. Remember to drop a like. Let's get over 1,000, and we have started, and we are up and running. That's going to be interesting to watch this and sort of give my thoughts on it. Evra's got the ball at the moment. Doesn't look any different to what he did when he was at United. I mean, Scholes will struggle. I remember watching Scholes in the Legends game a couple of years ago, and you know, when you stop playing football, this is the thing about the Premier League, and I think this is the problem Rooney has in the Premier League now, is because you can try and stay fit, but it's all about diet and what you've done through your 20s, really. And Scholes, he's still got a brilliant touch, but here we go. Might be a chance here. Rooney's just took a tackle there from Carrick right through the back. I told you Carrick is a dirty sod. Giggsy nearly shoots. Corner ball. Good start. Nice little start. Nice little movement. There'll be a bit of booze for Carrick. I've just realised I can't tweet that. I was going to say, yeah, Carrick is straight through the back of Rooney, crap Scouser, but then people would say, which one are you on about? Gerrard's not playing, Luke. He bottled it. He got himself injured. I think he was playing some game on Friday, an exhibition, and he's done his hamstring. And Lampard similarly was going to play, and he's not playing either. But what you notice in the exhibition sort of games is the pace of the game is a lot slower. Be nice to see Gary Neville and Carragher go together a bit, wouldn't it? But Gary Neville's on the bench for United's team at the moment. Carragher just gives the ball away to Giggsy. I think United are going to get a few goals in this game. Gives it to Rooney. Into Giggs. Scholes. Oh. Giggsy looks good. I mean, he's obviously keeps himself very fit. Scholes. Into... I think there'll be a few goals in this for United. Carragher looks fat and lazy, says Pogboom. Couldn't have put it better than that myself. And Beckham isn't playing Ollie because he didn't play in the 08 team. I'm sure Beckham would have happily come and played in this, but I don't think Carrick had any problems filling the 08 side, to be honest. I suppose Beckham could have played for the All-Stars, but being a United legend, why would you want to do that? It's not slower than a Van Hal match, says Thomas Ben Benjamin. That's got to be comment to the match so far. It is slow, but it's not slower than that. Ferdinand making a mistake there. And Vidic, the monster in the air, heading it away. Nathan wants Robbie Keane to score. Gerrard and Lampard are injured. Herman, they were meant to be playing, but they're not in this. And Gerrard was playing against Hashtag United, a YouTube team, says Lucas. I don't understand that Hashtag United, because we're a YouTube channel, I never get asked to play. I'll be better than half of them lot. I think you've got to be a FIFA gamer, haven't you, though? Well, that's lovely control by Damien Duff there. Brown puts him out for a throw. Walking pace, says Gary Wells. They're old men, aren't they, a lot of them? Which is why I say I think people like Rooney, Carrick, Fletcher, Evra, and John Terry, to a certain point of view, they should be standing out. Sir Alex back on the bench with Mickey Phelan. Nice to see. I just read a comment there that really made me laugh. It's like this sort of pace suits Wayne Rooney. I mean, retired ex-footballer's pace. Yeah, I mean, look, I'd be surprised about Rooney if Everton watch him and really think that he can offer them a lot next year. Because Everton, I know Everton aren't going to win the league or anything like that, but they're still a Premier League side. And I just think Rooney's decline is... I really think what Rooney should do, and I'm not hating on him here, if I was Rooney, he could earn more than he's earned in his career at China, and they'd absolutely love him over there, and he'd earn an absolute fortune. I think staying in the Premier League is a bad idea, because I just don't think he's got it anymore. I'd love him to prove me wrong, but I just don't think Rooney's got it anymore. So he really should be looking to just earn himself a bit of money, and the place to do that's going to be China. I don't think the MLS could afford him. Danny17 Bod says that Balaguer... Oh, look, you've started that sentence bad straight away by talking about Balaguer. I even saw on his Twitter timeline yesterday, he said Bale will be on the bench, and then an hour later, or he'll start. I mean, he just... I think that's where Sky Sports get a lot of their information from, Balaguer, and he is awful. I mean, every summer's got a sunny day, so he'll be right once, but he's very, very bad. But anyway, apparently he said that Mourinho wants to swap De Gea for Morata. I think it's Morata plus 20 million for De Gea, which, let's not forget, De Gea is a goalkeeper. Well, I don't think anyone will forget that, but De Gea is a goalkeeper. So to get a striker who is still in his early 20s and 20 million for De Gea, it just shows you how goalkeepers are now considered to be as expensive as outfield players. So De Gea's going to go, isn't he? We're going to talk about that a little bit more tonight at 8:30, but De Gea's probably going to go. What do you want? Would you rather have De Gea and Morata plus 20 million, or would you rather just have a straight 60 million? Because if you've got 60 million, United always have to pay over the odds anyway, so I'd take Rodriguez and Morata. Nightcrawler says Morata and 43 million for De Gea. But I think Morata's probably worth 40 million in today's market, so that's probably why it's 20 million. Giggsy's looking good, says Gungsheet. Yep, Rooney on the corner. Can he find Vidic? Good header. Back post for Brown. No, nothing coming with that. It is kick-off, mate. We've got the timer below the score there for you. And lovely little dink by Carrick to Rooney into the box. Nothing comes of it. Chad Sproul saying that Morata said after the game he's not leaving yesterday. He didn't. He said he's not going to Italy, and he said he'd like to stay at Real Madrid. But that's the way most footballers deal with things these days. It was very unusual for Griezmann to do what he did 2 weeks ago and say, I'm 6 out of 10 that I'm going to United. I mean, that's just... He is a scumbag for doing what he's done to United fans, because he really did play us that he was coming, and he would have known that ban was going to happen, and obviously he's just stayed for the money. But the way Morata said, "Oh, I'd like to stay at Real Madrid," well, of course you're going to say that. He's just won the Champions League. It's not going to say I want to get rid of it and put a negative onto something. He will know he's leaving. Ji-sung Park still looks very fit as well. It's running down the left here. John Terry intercepts. Sohan King. It looks like, I think people are actually negotiating the deal here. He says 30 million plus Morata for De Gea, and we'll do it if Real Madrid are listening. I think the sad thing about any deal that we're talking about is that there is that assumption, which I agree with, that he will, De Gea will leave, which I do think he will. Mark79 says, "Who is your United hero?" Mine is Robson. Roy Keane. Yeah, very easy to answer that. Roy Keane. Jason Bowditch. Bale said he wants to win more with Madrid. Yeah, look, if people think we're signing Bale, you're probably going to end up disappointed. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'd be 50-50 about it if it was any more. It's a huge deal to do. And Zidane likes him, Florentino Perez likes him, and a lot of it would depend on what sort of deals, that Real Madrid do. So, but the other flip side of that, if you think Bale is realistic, of course he's going to say, again, he's not going to be there saying I'm off to Man United. That would be sensational for him to do that. So, Pogba would like James and Perisic. Mark, what if we hasn't stayed for the money? Surely if it was about money, he would have come to us. Surely he would have paid more than what Atletico want, says Mr. Devils Shadan 666. Look, I think we need to move on from Griezmann, but there was a very good point on the call-in we did before the game. And I think this is what United, instead of sticking up for Griezmann, if you're a United fan, just, if there's anything I'd say take from this, one, when he signs the new contract, you'll know it's all about money, because why sign a new contract if you're only staying while the transfer ban's on? And he's already on a long-term contract, so he doesn't need to sign a new contract unless they're paying him more, so that'll make it very, very obvious that he's staying for the money. Two, if you don't want to believe that and think he's Mr. Loyal, if he wanted to come and play for Manchester United, he'd be playing for Manchester United. Forget about the loyalty. You don't blow that opportunity of wearing the number 7 shirt and coming to United. If you want to play for them, you come and do it. And Atletico Madrid cheated, so he doesn't owe them anything. The reality is he wasn't sold on the move. That's disappointing, but he wasn't sold on coming to United, because if he was, he would be coming. So we need to move on from it. For whatever reason, he didn't want to come to United, and we have to move on from it. It's disappointing, but I actually really like Griezmann, as you'll know if you've been watching this for a long time. I've lost a lot of interest in him because he's not the player or the person I thought he was. I thought he was an ambitious person who wanted to go and win things, and but United will always move on, or not. As Patrice Evra, blast from the pass, blasts all the way through from left back into the box and got brought down. Could have been a penalty, but not given. Azad Ahmed says, out of all the 08 stars, who would you have in the current team, given they'll be in their prime? Well, it'd be Ronaldo, but from today's game, who's playing, who would I have in their prime? Probably, oh God, you're picking Rooney in his prime, Giggs in his prime, Scholes in his prime, Evra, Vidic in their prime. It'd be a tough choice. I think realistically, you'd have to go for Scholes or Giggs, and I'd probably go for Scholes. I'd like Vidic as well, though, because I think that's exactly what United miss. An absolute monster of a centre-back who's so dominant in the air, but he's also a leader. I think Vidic... We probably need Vidic more. In the current United team, I'd probably say Vidic is probably the one player that we actually need. I'd like to have Scholes, number one, because he's the best. But we could probably get by without Scholes, but Vidic would be the player I'd want in the current team, because we desperately need that sort of a centre-back. Is that Fabinho playing for the All-Stars at right-back? No, it's Marcus Senna, isn't it? He was formerly of... let me get this right. Did he play for Valencia? No, was it Villarreal? Villarreal, wasn't it? Yeah. Here we go, Rooney. It's goal number 1. No, it's the roof of the net. Just from the edge of the box, put through, and it's a lovely. It's a Scholes ball. Playing on the last shoulder of Terry. He's away. Good first touch. Should have scored really, a man of his quality, but put it over the goalkeeper from the edge of the box. Kyle A says it's so nice seeing all the legends playing again together, which it is. That pass from Scholes, says Nolan. Yeah, you don't. That's one thing. As somebody who's getting on themselves a bit, the mind willing and the body not giving is very, very true. But you touch and you pass, you don't lose anyway. You lose your speed and you lose your agility, but your actual touch and pass, as you can see with Scholes there, you don't use that until your back and your legs go. Brendan Tombow was on about how good Robbie Keane was for LA Galaxy. Is Robbie Keane giving up now? Is he still playing? Lewis Webber, no, I would. Scholes would be the player I would take back, 100%. But I'm just in relation to the. With my, we're back. We're back. I was getting a bit of a problem with my thing there. Again. Are we back? If it does it again, I'll just change the mic. Yeah, we're back. They're booing the defender, Jeremy, because it's Jamie Carragher and John Terry, and one played for Liverpool and one was a total arsehole for Chelsea. So they're not popular with the United fans. It's banter booing, though. It's not... well, maybe not. United will hammer these All-Stars. Well, they're not at the moment. We are 15 minutes in and we've not scored. We should be hammering them, though, because we've got more players who are still currently playing football. Fletcher, Carrick, Rooney, Evra. Best player from each side, says Ollie JS. Currently or in their prime? Salgado's playing for the. I'm just trying to think. In the opposition's team, Mendieta was a very, very good player, and Clarence Seedorf as well. So it'd be one of those two. In our 11, again, I'd probably say Scholes. And I know some people would say Rooney, and Rooney was very good for United, but I still say Scholes. He's one of the best players I've ever seen. Oh, Robbie Keane, good little run, good block. Seedorf is still quality. I agree with you, Samsung. It's a long time since he retired, and he still keeps himself very fit. I mean, it's only a testimonial, but I think some of those points are relevant. In relation to Rooney, he really should be probably doing a little bit better in this game. But you could say the same about Carrick and Fletcher as well. But it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? But Rooney against that back line of Carragher, who is basically spending his life in Monday Night Football, Rooney should be just sending him to the cleaners. I mean, Rooney's playing high level, training with Manchester United under Mourinho, top level football. His speed and technique should be destroying players like that. But maybe he will in the second half. Maybe they're just having a good first few minutes and playing on adrenaline. Oh, Seedorf's a good player. I'd say Seedorf's been man of the match so far. Probably heard us saying who's been the best player, and Shaka Phillips on about who would we want in the Champions League group stage. I don't care, Shaka. I mean, I don't know what anybody else thinks. I really don't care who we get in the Champions League. I'm just ecstatic that we're in it. Can't wait for it to start next year. And I think the great and funny thing is that you get people laughing at us for being sixth, and it was not acceptable where we finished in the league, not by any means. But we won the Europa League and we go straight into the group stage. If you finish fourth, you've got to play a qualifier. So and playing that qualifier in the Champions League, it's nice because you've got an early game of the season. But we've got the Super Cup, haven't we? So that'll be fine for us. Looking forward to that Super Cup game against Real Madrid. And I don't want to have to play a Champions League qualifier. It's a risk, isn't it? To be honest with you, I would expect Liverpool will win their qualifier, but Everton lost theirs a few years ago, and it's always in the back of your head. I don't feel as if you've actually qualified for the Champions League if you've got to play a qualifier, because in the back of your head you're like, well, if we lost that, we're not actually through it. It's when you're in the group stage that you've qualified, and I'm sure Liverpool will, but they've still got that hindrance of a qualifier by finishing fourth. We haven't got that, so we're straight into the group stage, which is good, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, definitely. Harry Ballbag saying that Rooney looks ordinary no matter who he plays against. No goals yet. We don't want a 0-0, that's for sure. Be nice to get a goals. Super Cup, says United Class 77. When is the Super Cup? The August the 8th springs to mind. I think it's a Tuesday. Dan is watching from Australia. God, Dan, what time is it? Staying up for this sort of a game. But it's the All-Stars on the attack at the moment. And Robbie Keane, if you liked him, he should have scored. And they have scored. 1-0 to the All-Stars. Mendieta. So they've started to come into this game. Game on. Game on. Robbie Keane should have scored it, to be honest. In down the left, if you're interested. Cut back. Robbie Keane should have done better. Got it caught under his feet. Laid it off to Mendieta, who passed it home. Van der Sar's not going to get down low and save that anyway, even in his prime. And Ferdinand was on the line, but the wrong side of the goal. Rooney struggling with the average age of a defence that's got of 80. Get your words out, Goldbridge. But 1-0. Let's update the score. Let's have a bit of fun. Well, they've got to come from behind now. Maybe it's all part of the script. I remember in the days when testimonials used to be scripted. At least it's a goal anyway. We won a few goals. United on the attack now. Into Giggs in the box. All left foot. It's on the right hand side. Block cross. Mendieta scores for the All-Stars. So there we go. 1-0. Might have to make them a little bit smaller as the game goes on, but for now it will do. What can we do? Nani is in the Portuguese squad for a friendly, which I thought was weird when I first thought it. Well, why not play in this testimonial? But when you think about it, everybody in that 08 team for United, none of them are internationals, are they? So it's all about availability. Tevez is playing in China. Well, I think he's had a good run out anyway. See, Ronaldo would have been not able to play anyway. I don't know why anybody ever thought Ronaldo could have played, because he would have been in the Portuguese squad. Rooney heads it wide. Rooney is playing like he's retired, isn't he? Tyrone Williams giving Clarence Seedorf a bit of praise, which is very apt. He's been very, very good. Gregory Joff says, Jesus, Rooney is crap. Yeah, a player of his quality with a free header on the penalty box should be hitting the target. I think we've got to sell Rooney, haven't we? I know it sounds harsh to judge him on a testimonial game, but... And Stefan, I agree with you. I think if Nani was playing, he would wreck them all. Imagine if Ronaldo did play in this game. It'd be about 10-0. Well, yeah, 10-1. Gary Wells, Tevez, another mercenary. Everton feel free to get Rooney. I don't think they'll want him, as I said a few minutes ago. Jordan Thompson's got a good question here. Who's your favourite United player never... Well, who's your favourite player never to play for Manchester United? Trying to think of players that I really liked that never played for United, and you know what? I actually really did always like Paolo Maldini. I really did. I think he was absolutely brilliant defender. And who else did I like? I'm trying to think of somebody from the Premier League era. I think as much as he gets stick, Alan Shearer would have been very good for United, but he bottled it a couple of times, didn't he? I think he would have been good, and as much as he's a boring, mundane individual as a footballer, I think he would have been very, very good for United. But I wouldn't say we really missed him, because we still won loads of titles. Ronaldinho's a good shout. A lot of people on about him. Very nearly came to United as well. Griezmann. That would have been the funny answer. Yeah, a lot of people saying Ronaldinho. I did like Maldini a lot, and I think the obvious one is to always go for a striker, because obviously they're the game changers. But I did like Maldini. Somebody just said the favourite non-United player has to be Ronaldo. Either they didn't understand the question, or they don't realise that Ronaldo actually was made in Manchester. But there we go. Batistuta, good one from Pogboom. Fat Ronaldo, says Brendan Tombow, yeah. Kaka, says United Fan Tube. It's quite a competitive game, this. Salgado's just gone mad because a corner was given at the referee, and it doesn't look pantomime. It doesn't look genuinely annoyed. So they're obviously, taking it relatively seriously. And it's Vidic. This is exactly what we miss. Vidic with a goal from the corner. Oh, God, how we miss him. I'm so glad that he's done that, because it is exactly what we miss. We don't score corners, do we? And it's exactly, just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Giggs corner, right in the area, and Vidic just, you can't buy that. Again, age catches up with you, but that ability to go and attack a centre-back, up off Carragher's back as well. We really, really miss that. We really, really miss it. And, good goal, but that was a blast from the past, because we really do miss a centre-back who can get up and do that, and he was the best in the business at it. So I'm glad when we were talking about which player in their prime I would take for the current United team, it probably would be Scholes, but we do need a sort of Vidic. We miss a Vidic big time, and such a leader, and so good in the air. I pray Rooney just leaves, says somebody, and it was a good corner as well. Exactly, says Nemo0. A good corner at Old Trafford, and somebody on the end. We might not see that again until the next testimonial that Vidic comes and plays in. Let's get Vidic up on there though, because he deserves to be. 1-1. Vlidic. Vlidic. Idiot. There we go. 1-1. Jagati says I'd be on Jose's back to re-sign Evra. I didn't want Evra back. I've got to be honest about that. I think the game's moved on way too much for Evra to play in the Premier League. Brooke says Rooney's the worst one on the pitch, and Thomas Benjamin says Rooney's getting embarrassed by middle-aged men, and he's getting bullied, says Gredjit, and Scholes will score a goal, says Billy Bongo 123. Jake Holden says it only feels like it's been on for 5 minutes. It has whizzed by, hasn't it? And Jack Stubbins says hashtag Mark is deluded. I need to know what I'm deluded about. And Kante last year or Scholes in his prime for